That was cool.
Well, hello again everybody, and as usual I've been buying junk that I don't need, so any guesses? So what have we bought today? Well, it's another CB radio, and it's a Krakow KBC-4004, so 4004, a KBC 4004. It was made in Taiwan. It was made by Krakow Enterprises, and it looks like at some point it was imported into America because it's got some information on it here. I'm being a little bit naughty apparently, because not only is this CB illegal to operate, I was told that it's also illegal to own. Although I think it maybe is illegal to import, I'm not sure. Anyway, what makes this illegal is that it's an AM radio. It was designed and built for the American market. So I'm guessing back in the day, or even back in the day for that matter, somebody imported this into the UK with the view to use it. Now, I bought this, I think I paid £5 or £6 for it. It was described as broken. I did actually check this time that it was broken, because the last thing I wanted was to buy another working radio. So let's hope that it doesn't work, and well, we can have a go at fixing it. Now, I said before I know nothing about CBs, and I know even less about AM CBs. So we're in for some fun, aren't we? So let's just have a quick look at the controls. So we've got a squelch control, yep, know what that does. Volume, yep, RF gain. Got a delta tune control, don't know what delta tune control, I suppose it must, I don't know, would that offset the transmitter receive frequency? Is that for netting in or something like that? Don't know. We've got, just looks like a signal meter. It doesn't look as though it shows transmit power. It goes up to S9, so some kind of power meter, a little needle on it. We've got what I'm guessing is a channel select switch. Got a little green RX light for receive and a TX light. Got the maker's name here, Krakow. We've got a switch which says ANL. Can think of a cheap joke there, but I'm not going to do it. So we've got an anal control there, and I think that's automatic noise limiter perhaps. And we've got a PA switch, PA stroke CB. So you press it in for PA and you let it out for CB. So I'm pretty sure that this unit is going to be broken, because that's what the guy who sold it to me said it was. I made very sure we had a broken radio, so fingers crossed it's broken. And we've got a microphone here which is, well, it says Midland on it. I'm guessing that this is not an original microphone. So I'm just giving it a quick sniff for magic smoke, and yeah, can't smell the smell of magic smoke, just nicotine, bad language and perhaps poverty. Now I suppose what we could do is have a bit of a look inside it first and make sure that there's nothing astray, but that's boring. Let's just put some power on it. The current limit set to 500 milliamps on the power supply. Oh, we've got light, something's lit up. Oh, the dial has got more than just an S9 meter on it, so it's got a power meter which it says, oh, I don't know, RFD, I think that's like in a green colour. That goes up to 5. What's RFD? Don't know. Guess it's transmitted power or something. Yeah, so that's lit up in green on the bottom of the scale. The top scale is red, which must be the signal strength meter. We've got a receive light on, RX. Can't hear any sound, turn the sound right up, let's just try that. RF gain's fully up, squelch is fully down, just checking none of these push or pull. Delta tune, middle position. We've got ANL control on off, and PA is out. Okay, so I'm not hearing any sound, let's try the channel switch. Oh, looks like we've got a dodgy display there. So maybe a dirty channel select switch. Okay, that might be interesting to repair. I watched an interesting video on Mike's radio repair where he showed us drilling a hole into the top of the channel select switch and squirting some Service-All cleaner into it. So hopefully we might be able to have a go at that, try Mike's trick. Does seem to come on if you just you know, wiggle it and hold your tongue at the right angle. So is that going on and off? Hopefully you can see that. It's going on and off here. So it must be a bad connection inside. And the, as I say, the little power meter here has lit up. Not lit up very brightly, it's kind of a dim yellowy light. Maybe it's an old lamp. Right, okay, can't hear anything. Does it need to have the microphone plugged in? Right, still can't hear anything. There's the volume turned up. Better get a dummy load, I suppose, hadn't we? And I'm just going to plug my absorption watt meter in. Let's give that a try. So, will it transmit? No, doesn't seem to want to transmit. And when I key up the microphone, it's not drawing current. Have I got it set to PA or something? Don't think so. Just variously pressing things, seeing if I can get it to do something. No, not a sausage, not an electronic sausage. No sound, no nothing, no transmit. So I think we will actually take the cover off and have a quick look-see inside. Maybe the speaker's disconnected, who knows. Probably not going to get that lucky. Let's hope it's something a bit worse than just a disconnected speaker. No, something not quite right there, but it's not drawing current, so it's not transmitting. Could it be something as daft as a badly wired microphone? And I'm just going to do a quick check to see if the case is actually referenced to ground on this. So that's the case and the connector. Let's try the ground. Oh, which it appears not to be. Okay, so this is floating. Now I'm pretty sure this wouldn't have come with a Midland microphone. It's a completely different make. Could it be that the microphone is just wired up wrong? I've got no idea. I don't actually know what the microphone connections would be for this. So maybe we'll just try. Maybe we'll just try shorting things out and see if it does anything. What could possibly go wrong with that, eh? Oh, I've got audio came on then. Oh, and it's actually just drawing 400 milliamps now. So it looks like we need to short out two of these pins to get audio. Is that volume turned up? Let's try again. Yeah, I think that's actually doing something. The transmit light is coming on, I've just noticed, so we are keying the transmitter, but it isn't actually transmitting. I wonder if that's common then. Right, okay. So we can get the TX light to come on, but it's not putting any power out. So let's keep digging, let's take the lid off. I really like that sound. Now I was going to say I can't see any signs of it being buggered around with, but just looking inside here I can see something on the display which looks as though it's been messed with. There's some of the broken tracks or burnt tracks. It looks as though maybe it's not a dirty switch, maybe it's something to do with flexing the board, which is making the channel display work. It's a bit hard to tell. Maybe we've got some bad solder joints on there. So it's got the channel select here, which has got some dodgy segments on. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm just trying to figure out what's causing that. If I kind of flex the circuit board, it will come back on, as will well, just very carefully touching the channel knob. So I'm not sure if it's something loose on the circuit board. In fact, it's come back totally there now. So is it something on the circuit board here? Because when I press that, it does seem to come back. Or is it this ribbon cable? There's a little ribbon there, so it could be this ribbon connector. And that doesn't seem to do anything. So touching the circuit board seems to make it come back. So kind of wondering if we've got some bad joints on there. It's either bad joints or it's this switch here. It's hard to tell, so maybe we need to just run over some of these joints with a soldering iron and see if that makes a change or an improvement. So we'll give that a try. Let's have a look on the other side. So I'm afraid I'm going to show my ignorance now of CB radios, because I don't really know what I'm looking at. So we've got some form of I'm guessing that's the channel select switch there. Looks like maybe some kind of wafer switch. I'm not sure if we can get in that or not. That's got a circuit board. I'm guessing these are the switch contacts here. And that actually seems to have, I'm going to say it's come back to life a bit. Let's see if it has. Not sure if it's bad connections or what. Could be. I think there's some resistors down here that are just getting warm, but they're not getting completely roasting. Looks like we've got some, I don't know, audio transformers down here. We've got some inductors of various types. Here's the incoming power. Doesn't particularly look like it's been butchered. I'm guessing this is the output power transistor here, which doesn't look original. Doesn't look like it's the original part. That looks as though it's been played with at some point in the past. So okay, so I can feel something getting warm on the board there. It feels like there's a power transistor of some description mounted to the circuit board. So I don't know if that's I don't know what that's doing. Maybe it's a regulator of some description. Is there any conventional logic on it? I can't see any like logic gates or anything like this on it. I can't see anything that's at TTL level, so I don't know if there's any 5-volt logic on here or anything like that, or if it's all purely transistor. It looks like it's all just transistor. We've got, well, maybe not quite, because there's what I'm guessing is an audio amplifier. There's a little audio amplifier IC tucked away down here. I still haven't heard any audio out of this yet. We've not had a peep out of it, so something not quite right. I think it might be worth also checking things like this, these audio switches here, because sometimes you just get bad speaker connections, don't you? Could we just have a bad connection to the speaker? It's not impossible, is it? Well, I don't think it's in any way major, but I have just found this ground connection here seems, I wouldn't say it's loose, but it looks like a bad joint, and I've been getting intermittent continuity. So I think it is worth fixing that before I go much further. Let's just see if that improves anything. Actually, now I've taken that off, it doesn't seem as bad as it did, so let's just push that back on again and put some new solder on. Well, I thought I'd start off with some of the least important thing first. So we've got some bad connections with this display here, and I'm not just sure if it's a bad solder joint or it's a dirty switch. It's a bit hard to tell. If I mess about with the switch, it goes on and off, but also if I press the board, it seems to have the same effect. So I'm not quite sure if it's the board or the switch. It's probably the switch, but I'm just going to try and make these connections good, because they look a bit of a mess down there. Right, I wonder if that's made any difference. I don't think it's made any difference, unfortunately, so I'm guessing the problem must be in the switch. I think just because of the general state of the board, I can see a lot of like cracks and dirt and crud and oxidisation. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to touch up the rest of some of these joints, because some of them do look really poor. I can actually see, I can see kind of the typical dry joint craters. I can see this lead sticking through in some areas, and I can see like a a volcano crater around it, and that leads me to believe that a lot of these joints have gone dry. So I'm going to just spend a little bit of time. I'm going to put some flux on the board, and I'm just going to go through it. I'm just going to go through it, touching everything up. What I'll do is I'll bring you back when I've done that, because I don't think it'll be very interesting. Some of these balls of solder are huge. It's like huge globs of solder, and they just sat on the surface. So I think what I'll actually do is I think I'll get the solder sucker. I'm going to suck some of this horrible globby solder off. I'm going to put new on. There's a few areas that look as though they've been shorted with link wires. Particularly there's one there, although it looks as though it might be factory. But I don't like the look of it anyway. Can you see that one there? Just looks a bit of a mess. So let me spend a little bit of time with a solder sucker, and I'm going to suck out all the old gammy solder, and I'm going to put some fresh solder in its place. So let me bring you back when I've done that, and well, we'll see if it's helped. I think I'm just going to give up. I'm going to just cover this board in flux, and I'm just going to go over everything because it's in such a mess. You can see another one there. It's not so much spot the bad joint as I'm sure if I look carefully, I'm going to find a good joint on here somewhere. I'm going to find one that doesn't need resoldering if I look hard enough. It's just crud on top of crud. What a horrible mess. Oh, we've got some audio. Let's turn the current limit up a bit. What's it set to? Up 1.5 amps. It's quite a lot, isn't it? Is that a lot for CB? Let's turn it down 1.2. Okay, so I resoldered this joint here, which I think was at fault there, although it just looks like a ground connection. I think there's something still iffy there. Let's just go over them as well. Let's suck the solder off and put some new on, I think. I think I might actually prefer that gel flux to this liquid flux. Problem with this liquid flux I'm using, I put it on and it's just running everywhere. It's not staying where I want it, so I might actually swap that for some gel flux shortly. I want some thicker solder. I think somebody's done a bit of scraping away at the past here, so let's just see what's under there. Maybe somebody's joined together a broken track. It looks a bit like that. In fact, I can't even... we'll have to go over that with a solder in first. Solder sucker won't even heat it up enough. Let's run some fresh solder on. Now the reason I'm going to get very annoyed in a minute is because I know that if I use the Marconi 2955, when I key up this transmitter, it will display the frequency on the communications analyzer. It'll display the frequency, and then I can just press one button and it will set that frequency to the receive channel, and then we can test transmit and receive. Whereas I know when I key up this transmitter, it will actually, the Stabilock will completely ignore it unless I actually happen to have the right frequency keyed in. And if you don't know what the frequency is, there lies the problem. Now this is a Stabilock 4015 and I absolutely detest it. I normally use a Marconi 2955, which is just a pleasure to operate, but this thing is just a swine. It's a constant battle of pressing switches and putting it into the right mode. It could be that I just haven't bothered reading the manual for it, but I never read manuals for equipment. The line that I take is that I shouldn't have to read a manual, it should just work. And this little bugger doesn't just work, it's a swine. Anyway, whinge, complain, first world problems and all that. Some leads out. You'll remember I do favour using BNC connectors where I can. Thou shalt not wear out virginal N-type connectors is the 11th commandment. Okay, so we've keyed up the transmitter now, and what's it saying? It's saying it's detected a frequency of 26.97481. And I'm guessing that I've got this set up to FM mode at the moment, so how do you set it to AM? You can just say I haven't even used this in years. I very rarely use it. You press the mod button. Mod, no. Mod frequency, no. How do you put this into AM? Let's not use a Stabilop. 'Tis a stupid instrument. Can't even switch the bloody thing off.